domestic steel output to take it, as plants divert oxygen for medical use. While the domestic steel demand is expected to take some hit due to the ongoing second COVID-19 wave, production of the commodity is also expected to align itself to the consumption pattern as players divert oxygen from its plants to meet the urgent medical requirement of various states. Steel production is bound to get impacted, since the oxygen used in the making of steel is getting diverted for medical usage, but life cannot have less priority with rest to production, said a source with MNS India on condition of anonymity. MNS India is supplying about 200 tons of oxygen daily for medical usage for COVID patients. About 28 oxygen plants located in the steel plants of both public and private sectors are supplying about 1,500 tons of medical oxygen daily. A stock of 30,000 tons, including the safety stock, is being made available for medical use, the Ministry of Steel informed via its Twitter handle. Sujjan Jindal, led JSW Steel, from its Dalvi plant in Maharashtra, is supplying 185 tons of oxygen daily to the state government. Among the states across the country, Maharashtra is the worst hit due to the second COVID wave, with Mumbai heading the list among metros. COVID-19 has started spreading again, and we need oxygen for saving lives. Oxygen is the raw material in steel plants, and at this crucial time, we have committed to the government to prioritize saving lives over steel making, said Jindal via tweet last week. Since the beginning of the pandemic, steel plants have supplied over 130,000 ton medical oxygen, informed the Steel Ministry. Tata Steel's response has been proactive to the increased demand for liquid medical oxygen, and the company has been supplying as per the requirement given by various state governments, informed the Tata Steel spokesperson. Meanwhile, the domestic steel industry is gearing up for a slightly muted demand, as auto and consumer durables segments are expected to take a hit going ahead. Demand from auto and white goods are not expected to pick up. It will not be a situation as bad as last year, since both companies and consumers have kind of learned to tide over the situation, but overall it will be a muted demand, at least in the large cities, said P.K. Sen, Secretary General at Institute for Steel Development and Growth. Demand for steel from infrastructure projects, led by the government, will, however, continue, said industry officials. In terms of demand trends, rating agency ICRA said that contraction in domestic steel consumption has been much lower, at 9.9% in 11 months fiscal year 2021, compared to a 19.6% drop witnessed during 8 months fiscal year 2021, on the back of a sharp pullback in demand during December 2020 and January 2021. Even this year, demand from rural areas and from small cities and towns will be relatively higher compared to metros, as the pandemic has not had much impact in those areas, informed Mr. P.K. Sen. Automobile sales across segments in India, the world's fifth largest market, slipped to a 6-year low, and the year ended in March. Auto Industry Body Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers said last week. Auto companies are now readying for yet another tough year, the third in a row, amid the raging virus and restrictions. As per Joint Plant Committee data, India's finished steel production during April to February fiscal year 21 declined 10.3% on year-on-year basis to 85.6 million tons, with imports sliding 33% and consumption dropping around the same level as production at 9.9% to 84.6 million tons. Steel exports, however, rose 22% in the period under review to 9.4 million tons. Companies will align their production levels with the demand, and we don't really expect a major demand-supply gap this fiscal, informed Mr. P.K. Sen.